So how many people on the line here have ever fished before? All right, good. So everybody that I can see. So you understand that in fishing, if we just drop a hook into the water with nothing on it, what happens?
You don't get anything?
You get nothing, right? You just have a really good day of having a hook in the water. So what is it that we use to attract the fish?
Bait.
Bait, a lure, right? Something other than just a hook. And what's the whole point of the lure or the bait?
Catch fish.
And before we catch them, we have to what?
Look like something they want.
Yeah, we have to attract them. Absolutely. We have to look like something they want. Now, in a conversation on a call before, Cody and I talk about this regularly because we enjoy fishing together. What we know is, okay, this top left, if you're not a spinner, if you're not a fisherman, that's a spinner bait, right? And that is a specific piece of equipment for a specific type of fish. Now, bottom center is what?
Fly.
A fly. Also, very effective when used in the right context and the right environment. Do you follow me so far? All of what you have here works, and yet not all of them work every time in every circumstance. Are we good so far?
Mm-hmm.
So the key is understanding what it is we're looking for and what it is that will attract them. And so in conversation with Blaine this morning, it was beautiful, and I've heard this from a couple of other people. He was talking about open houses, right? And he talked specifically about, hey, I'm doing an open house, and I had four buying sets or four couples, whatever you want to call it, through the open house. Right now, to the average agent, that's amazing. Now, to you guys, because you do a high-level open house, that can feel disappointing. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So first off, I want to start with our mindset, right? So, Blaine, what did I come back to you at first and say as far as mindset goes around open houses?
So the big thing was that, like, that drunk monkey saying, like, oh, you're wasting time because, you know, you're not getting a lot of people coming through. And so if we make sure that we're coming to the open house like it's the office, I've got my call list, I've got, you know, stuff to work on, I've got people to be contacting. And so I use it for messaging in my Facebook A to Z yesterday and the day before. So making sure that you're doing something so that it doesn't feel like a waste.
It can be incredibly productive, and that's exactly right. It's all mindset. So, yes, I still believe open houses are a great use of your time when done strategically and done well. Absolutely, I don't think that changes based on the market. So just hear me clearly there. What I'm suggesting is when we do open houses, treat it like your mobile office. Take work with you. Be prepared with a call list. Have everything at your ready so that you can, regardless of how much traffic comes through, be productive. Because here's the deal. Blaine worked, and he had 4 sets of buyers come through an open house. If Blaine would have done that work at home or at the office, how many of those 4 sets would he have come in contact with? 0, right? So it's all about putting yourself in the path of opportunity. You should be. I'm going to say you're going to be because I'm going to just believe this. But you should be doing that darn work anyway. So why would you not? If you're going to do the work, do it in the path of opportunity. And unfortunately, that opportunity, those people are not going to come to your office to find you, okay? So that's the first thing we talked about. Now, as we were also talking, we were unpacking that more, and the conversation came up with, okay, so what's changed, right? We're noticing a decrease in open house traffic. Is that the case for anybody else on the call? Have you noticed a decrease in open house traffic in the last 6 to 8 months?
Yes.
Okay, so a number of you are saying yes. Maybe not all of you, and that's totally fine. Yet a number of markets are seeing decreased traffic. That being said, with the decreased traffic, then we got into the fact of what's the motivation. Now, what Blaine said he's heard, and I'd really truly like to hear from you guys what your thoughts are and what you've observed. What he's hearing is a buyer conversation that they're having with themselves. And the conversation goes something to the effect of, wow, it seems like the market's getting better for us, meaning getting better for the buyers. Has anyone else had or heard that type of a conversation with a buyer? Okay. Anyone else?
Me.
Okay. So that being said, if we rewound 6 months ago, were you hearing those conversations?
No.
Okay. So what's changed?
Perception.
Interesting. Hear me clearly on this one. The market does not have to shift drastically for people's perceptions to be impacted. Do you follow what I'm saying here? So it doesn't have to be a massive shift yet, guys. It can just be the beginning of the shift. And if it's still impacting their perception, perception is their what?
Reality.
Reality. And if their reality has switched to, wow, it's a buyer's market. You and I both know it's not technically a buyer's market yet in most of your markets and most price ranges. However, if that's their reality, what does that impact?
Urgency.
Urgency. It automatically, even if it subconsciously, impacts their urgency. So what's the difference between how buyers would behave with high sense of urgency versus how buyers behave with low sense of urgency? That's an open question.
If they have a high sense of urgency, they're getting out there, they're getting to open houses, they're getting with an agent because they need to find a house for one reason or another.
They'll pay
And
more.
if they don't have that urgency, they're not.
100% yes to both of you. Write this down. Everybody get ready to write this down. The lack of urgency, here's what we're talking about here. The fear, because it's always fear. Emotion and human activity is typically based in fear. So what we're looking at with the change that you're experiencing, or at least some of you are experiencing, is this. The fear of loss is no longer or is becoming less than greater than the fear of taking action. Before, they had a big fear of taking action, right? Now the market got even crazier, and all of a sudden that fear switched to, oh, crap, if we don't do something, we're going to miss what?
The opportunity.
We're going to miss an opportunity, and we'll never be able to buy. Now, you and I both know that that's not true. However, look back and watch what's happened with the clients and the conversations you've had with registrants on your site. The fear of missing out was greater than the fear of taking action. And so they were doing more. They were getting pre-qualified. They were going to open houses. They were actively engaged at a higher level. Now, when that perception switches in their mind, even if it's not true reality, even if it's a piece of reality, when that perception in their mind changes, the balance of fear has shifted. And now the fear of taking action is outweighing the fear of missing out, because they feel like it's safer to do nothing. It's safer to take our foot off the gas. It's safer. Now we can breathe. We can stop and reassess and just see what's going to happen. Has anyone experienced that with buyers in the last month? Have you had those conversations or had that feeling yourself?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
way easier.
So if that's the reality, if we're all, I'm hearing yes and I'm seeing nods. So if that's our reality and we're fishing for these people, we're looking to attract them to our offering, what do we need to switch?
Their perception.
Yes. And how do we do that?
Tell them interest rates are going to go up to 10% tomorrow.
It's on your screen. We switched the bait. So obviously the message isn't working like it used to. It doesn't mean it's ineffective. It just means it's not working at the same level that it used to because the environment has changed. Their mindset and their perception has changed. So a good fisherman, when they notice that a lure or bait that they're using is not working, what do?
Change it.
They change it. Now, how do they make decision around changing from one to another? If you've fished before, how do you know? What do you do when in terms of, okay, this obviously isn't working. I still have a desire to catch this or attract this. So what do I switch and how do I know what to switch? What does a fisherman do at that point? Or fisherwoman?
Find out what's worked in the past.
Maybe, absolutely. So we go maybe to fishermen that have fished longer than we have, and we say, hey, when you were in a similar situation, here's what I'm feeling and experiencing. What have you done that got results before? Absolutely, 110%. People have gone before us. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. Ask, right? What else?
Ask the people that are catching fish.
Interesting. Ask the people who are currently having success despite the changes that we're experiencing. So tell me, what is it that you're saying? What message are you using to get people to take action? Because they're succeeding in spite of the changes that we're observing. Okay, what else?
I wasn't a good fisherman.
Okay, let me tell you a little quick story. Maybe this will jog your memory.
Throw another poll out.
Yeah.
There's part of it. When you go fishing in a boat and you're trolling for things, you typically don't just have one pole in the water. You have what?
Multiple.
4 or 5.
Multiple poles. And on each pole, you typically have different bait because you are assessing in that moment, what will they respond to now? So I'm testing on the front end what is going to work, what is working, and then what do I switch all my other poles out to?
What's working?
What's working, right? So the first thing we have to do is assess. We have to look around and say, okay, no judgment, no emotion from me. Where are we today? What is their reality? It doesn't matter what I know to be true or not. That's irrelevant to them. What's their reality? What is their perception is what's shaping that perception. So I have to get real clear there because that then informs or should inform what's important to them. Because the only time we're going to attract, the only time we're going to have the right bait is when we are in line with what is important to them. When we're selling a solution to a problem they have, right? So we have to identify what their motivation is. Once we figure that out, then we start bringing that into our method of all of our other lead generation. Now, this can be really simple. Don't overthink it. And I'm not going to give you an answer here today because it's going to be different in each of your markets. And I want you to go through the exercise. My point is this. You have to do the work and be intentional about figuring out what is working and knowing what you need to switch to or tweak because the solution is likely not anything drastic. It may be a couple words you're using. It may be information that you're providing that may not be as relevant today as it used to be back then. And maybe there's more information or different information that you should be providing that would speak to what it is they're experiencing right now.